We really take the humble HDMI cable for granted. You plug it in, the picture pops up, and you just move on. But in professional AV environments like big conference halls or lecture theaters, that simple cable actually becomes a massive bottleneck.
Yeah, it really does. Physics is just, well, it's stubborn. You try to push massive amounts of data across a room, and copper just doesn't want to cooperate. At a certain distance, usually just a few meters, that high bandwidth 4K signal just falls right off a cliff.
Exactly. You get dropouts, flickering, or just a...
A completely blank screen, yeah.
Right. So today we are doing a deep dive into a piece of hardware designed to beat those physics. We are looking at the Kramer EXT3-H-POE-T. We pulled the specs from an HDTVSUPPLY listing, and this little box is marketed as a 4K60 4.4 HDR HDMI transmitter.
Which is, I mean, it's a very dense string of acronyms, but the mission is actually pretty simple. Get a perfect picture from point A to point B without bulky cables. And the secret sauce here is that it uses HDBaseT 3.0 technology.
Let's unpack that perfect picture claim, because normally when you extend video over twisted pair copper, there's a catch. You usually have to compress the signal, right, to make it fit down the pipe.
You do, but the headline feature here is that 4.4.4 number. That refers to chroma subsampling. Most video streaming you watch at home is 4.2.0. It throws away color data because your eye barely even notices it in a moving video.
But for a presentation, say Excel spreadsheets with fine grid lines or architectural drawings, you definitely notice.
Oh, you notice immediately. If you compress that color data, text looks fuzzy and colored lines look completely washed out. This Kramer unit preserves the full 4.4.4 signal. It is uncompressed. You are getting the exact pixel data at the display that just left the laptop.
Okay, that brings us to the range. Uncompressed 4K is heavy data. How far can we actually push this before the signal starts to degrade?
If you are maxing it out doing 4K at 60 Hz with that full color precision, the specs say 40 meters.
Which is roughly 130 feet. That covers just about any standard conference room.
Easily. And if you are willing to compromise just slightly, say dropping to 4K at 30 Hz or standard 1080p, you can extend that reach to 70 meters or 230 feet.
And looking at the spec sheet, it seems they haven't skimped on the modern standards either. I see support for HDR10 and HDCP 2.3.
Which is crucial. HDCP 2.3 is the latest copy protection. If your transmitter doesn't support it and you try to play a protected clip from a streaming service, the screen just goes black. And because this is uncompressed, you're looking at near zero latency.
That is huge for live presentations. There is nothing worse than moving your mouse and waiting half a second for the cursor on the screen to catch up.
Exactly. But what makes this unit so interesting to me is that it's not just a video pipe. It's handling power and control, too.
Yeah, I noticed that term symmetrical PoE. That sounds like a major convenience feature.
It is a total lifesaver for installers. PoE is power over Ethernet. Symmetrical means it works both ways. This transmitter can either power a remote receiver, or it can be powered by one.
That's actually really useful. It means if I'm at a boardroom table with no spare outlets, the unit hidden behind the TV on the wall can just send power down the line to me.
Precisely. It totally eliminates the wall wart power brick at the source. And alongside power, it's sending bidirectional data, RS-232 and IR signals.
So practically speaking, I can use the room control system at the table to turn on the projector, or use the remote at the projector to control the media player at the rack.
It's a two-way street. It effectively creates a transparent link between the 2 points for video, audio, power, and control. And the audio support is robust too, up to 32 channels of uncompressed digital stereo, including Dolby True HD and DTS HD.
Now let's look at the hardware itself. We have seen plenty of AV gear that sounds like a jet engine.
This uses a Digitools fanless aluminum enclosure. It runs completely silent, which is non-negotiable for a quiet meeting room.
And it looks tiny.
It is. It's designed for drop ceiling mounting or rack mounting. You can actually fit 3 of these units side by side in a single 1U rack space. That density matters when you're cramming gear into a tight credenza.
So what's the damage on the wallet?
The listing puts today's price at $496, marked down from an MSRP of $620.
It's not cheap, but for uncompressed, zero latency 4K extension, that seems to be the going rate for pro gear.
It is. You're paying for the reliability of HDBaseT 3.0 and that uncompressed image quality.
So to recap, Kramer has built a silent aluminum bridge that carries studio-quality video, audio, power, and control over 130 feet of standard copper cabling.
That's the elevator pitch right there. It's the invisible heavy lifting of the AV world.
It really highlights an interesting shift. We spend thousands on the glass, the actual screens on the wall. But as we demand higher resolutions in HDR in every corner of our buildings, how much does the invisible infrastructure in the walls, like these transmitters, actually matter more than the screens themselves?
Absolutely. The best screen in the world is useless if the signal can't get to it.
Something for you to consider next time you're planning a space. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.